It is day 2 of SEC Media Days in Atlanta, and Dan Mullen has some new swagger on display. Hear from BRITTON, LYNN, and ROCCO DISANGRO on Mullen's fashion statement.
Welcome into day 2 of SEC Media Days. I'm BRITTON, LYNN for ROCCO DISANGRO, and what a day. I never thought we'd be talking about shoes at SEC Media Days, but Dan Mullen always keeping it entertaining.
Yeah, Dan Mullen, former Mississippi State head coach, now with the Florida Gators, always bringing the heat with the shoe game. In the past, he's worn the Yeezy Boosts with Adidas, but now Florida, they've signed a deal with Jordan. He brought out the custom Jordans, Florida Gator style.
I'm impressed with how much you know about shoes, but let's get back to football. Dan Mullen headed back to Florida where he coached the quarterbacks from 2005 to 2008. He spoke with us a little bit about what it takes in taking over a program and not making those same mistakes he did his first time around.
I probably was a bull in a china shop walking into Mississippi State 10 years ago. Boy, I was a control freak. I think when you look at that and learning how to manage the whole organization, the workload's not easier, just how it gets done. You know, you've done it before.
A bull in a china shop. Never heard that one before. But speaking of new coaches, a new coach for Arkansas.
Yeah, BRITTON, head coach of the Razorbacks, Chad Morris. He comes to Arkansas from SMU. Actually, 6 of the 14 coaches this year at SEC Media Days are new head coaches. For Chad Morris, though, this being his first SEC Media Days, I'm not sure if he really expected the media circus that followed.
Well, they told me there would be a few cameras here today, so I think a few would probably be a little bit of an understatement, but I've been really excited. You know, growing up and being a fan of college football, you knew that when you turned on the television and you saw the SEC Media Days being televised, you knew that football season was starting.
And BRITTON, Arkansas, they'll look to put up a fight in the SEC, thanks in part to players like senior linebacker Dre Greenlaw.
Yeah, and Dre Greenlaw has made a huge impact on the field, obviously, but off of it, not many people know the story about the adversity he's overcome there. He spoke with us at the press conference today and said that as a 9th grader, his parents' rights were terminated. He was placed into DHR, and that's when the early family stepped in.
They took me in, and it just made me a part of their family. And at the time, we had decided that it was best that if I didn't get adopted, and I just finished my DHS process and program out till I was 21. And so, yeah, I turned 21 last month, and I had decided to make them, you know, my official mom and dad. They were mom and dad anyways, but it just makes it some type of commitment.
And ROCCO, that story, pretty personal to me. My dad and 2 aunts were actually adopted from the foster care system by my grandparents. So I love hearing players like Dre share that.
And that story similar to another SEC player, former SEC player Michael Orr. The story The Blind Side, that movie, that was about him with the Toohey family coming in and adopting him. So that's one of my favorite movies. But that'll wrap things up from Atlanta for SEC Media Days alongside BRITTON, LYNN. I'm ROCCO DISANGRO, WHNT, News 19 Sports.